Welcome back. Let's have a look at Chef Sové. So here is the official chef made by Chat GPT slash OpenAI. And here is the one I made, Chef Sové. So the key difference is that the system prompt for Chef Sové is much longer than Sous Chef. So let's test both. So I would like to make a homemade pepperoni pizza. So let me just change the... So yeah, I will start the same way here with Chef Sové. So here is the answer I get from OpenAI. The classic pepperoni pizza, a beloved dish that marries the zest of pepperoni with the comforting embrace of melted cheese and the kiss of tomato sauce, all resting on a canvas of dough that's both crispy and tender. So here I get the ingredients. 1.4 teaspoons, yeah, and also for the toppings, instructions. Before we move on to creating your personalized grocery list, would you like to see an image of what this delightful creation could look like to set your culinary expectations soaring? Okay, let's do yes. Yes. The thing is that Chef Sové starts a bit differently. I designed him to be more engaging and give you more of a personal experience. So he starts like, bonjour. Before we dive into the delicious world of homemade pepperoni pizza, may I have the pleasure of knowing your name? So my name is Alexander, like that. So here you can see that Chef Sové, he has way more of a personality than the sous chef. And Chantea, making a homemade pepperoni pizza is a fantastic choice. And of course, you get the ingredients. So here you can actually see the image made by sous chef. And here sous chef makes a grocery list. So I don't really see the point of that because, so Chef Sové, right? He comes up with the ingredients you need. So obviously, if you don't have these things, you need to buy them. But that doesn't mean you miss everything. So yeah, I don't see the point of really doing this when they already say the ingredients here. It seems like superfluous. But anyway, so here we can see the ingredients and instructions from Chef Sové. So Alexander, pizza making is a beautiful opportunity to express creativity in the kitchen. Feel free to adjust the toppings to match your preference. Also, playing with the dough's thickness can change the pizza's texture and taste. Thin crusts are crispy and quick to bake, while thicker crusts offer a chewier bite. Would you like tips on kneading the dough or suggesting for alternative toppings? Yes. So one of the key distinctions is that Sové, he will dive more deeply into actually making the dish, while sous chef, so let's see what sous chef does next. Gather these ingredients and you'll be set to bring the warmth and joy of homemade pepperoni pizza to your table. If you need any more guidance or any more culinary curiosities, or have any more culinary curiosities, feel free to ask. Happy cooking. Yeah. I mean, this is not a bad chef, but Sové will just tell you a lot more, like how to knead the dough if you want to know about that, alternative toppings, some brainstorming around cheeses, some final tips. And Sové will always try to drive further engagement. So here at the end, right, he goes, Alexander, with these tips and your creativity, every pizza you make can be a new adventure. What kind of pizza are you thinking of making next? Or perhaps there's another dish you're curious to explore. So yeah, when it comes to generating images, I am working on a version of Chef Sové that also generates images. And when it comes to that, I'm very interested in hearing your suggestions because there is always a trade-off when you work with artificial intelligence. So the system prompt for Chef Sové is way more elaborate than what OpenAI has. So because of that, Sové will continually process things in the background to be more engaging, to dive a bit deeper, give you better suggestions, and all of that. I have tested a bit with making a version of Sové that also generates images. What I did find is that of course, he made images, but he wasn't as good at being engaging, at to really deep dive into how to actually make a fantastic pizza, as an example. So nuances like how do you knead the dough? That's the stuff that Suvia will come up with, how to take the dish to the next level when the processing is focused on that. But it could also be interesting to have a version of Suvia that might be more of a light version, where some of the processing goes to making images. So I'm definitively very open to that. Another thing related to images is to maybe make it more to give it higher utility than what OpenAI does, because it just says make an image of the food. What could be interesting is to make make images that have more utility, like, okay, how knead the dough, as an example. So sort of like how to-ish images, maybe even informatics. Yeah, currently DALI is pretty good with text in images. It could definitively be better, but yeah. So basically, those are like the two suggestions I have. So come back to me with what you think. One thing is to just have a light version of Suvia that makes images if you find that interesting, but you just have to be aware that there will be less sophistication in the other aspects of Suvia, because the current system prompt for Chef Suvia is close to the max of what kind of processing you can do per request. Another alternative would be to, instead of just making images of the food, to make images that have higher utility, like how to-ish me images. So yeah, so come back to me with that and have fun making dishes with Sové. Another thing I'm considering changing with the system prompt is to make Sové convert metrics into grams instead of cups, and basically to have more universal metrics for things, because what is a cup, right? Okay, so there are of course these measuring cups you can buy, but or maybe Suvia should mention different types of measurements. Maybe what it would be in grams. I do prefer to work with grams myself, because I have like one of those weights, and then I can be like really accurate, and I can make the same dish every time. When you talk about like tablespoons, teaspoons, it's not as precise. So that's another thing I'm considering modifying with the Chef Sové. But yeah, enjoy Chef Sové and make amazing dishes.